Krishna, welcome to the Dham Good Podcast, your favorite Hare Krishna lifestyle podcast. I am your host, Prema, and we're here in my office. As you can see, I have what inspires me around here. So it's a lot of my daughter's artwork. If I get a nice quotation, I put it up. And this beautiful picture back here is a gift given by a friend. So I like to be in here because it's colorful and reminds me of what's important. I hope you all are enjoying this solo podcasting thing I've got going on. I think it's a lot like my Instagram stories where I just get on, talk about something really random, and that's it. So it's like an elongated version of that. I thought I had made a full hour last time. I did not. I didn't even make 30 minutes. So I don't know if I can talk for a whole hour. That's why it was nice to have a partner here, because then it's like we're sharing the time. So this is the last video you'll see from me in Mayapur for a while, because for the summer I am headed out back to America with my daughter. I'm actually leaving tomorrow, but I thought I'd shoot this before I leave. So by the time you all see this, I will have already cleared out. I would already be there. Oh, you can see I'm glowing out here. Oh, the sweat. You know, it's been like 110 degrees, 111 only out here in Mayapur. I don't know what that is in Celsius. I've been here like 10 years. I still don't know Celsius. Like, I know 40 is really bad. So I guess 39 would also be bad. And that's it. That's all I know. That's literally all I know. So if you're like, oh my God, it was 34 today, I'd be like, okay. And watching your reaction, because I really don't know. So I was talking with, I'm so sorry about this squeaky chair. I was talking with a friend of mine the other day, and I was like telling him, like, you know, you need to go to Darshan RT. Like, it's so good for you and whatever. And he's like, what's the point of going to Darshan RT or any of these RTs? Like, I know Krishna's in my heart. I accept Krishna. And I didn't really respond to that because I was like, that's a good point. Like, why are we going to these things? Like, I show up at Darshan RT. I do some stuff for an hour, and then I, like, go back home and live my life. It was a good point. And I was kind of thinking about it. And I feel like, I mean, other than witnessing the arti of the Lord and like seeing their beautiful dress and getting to like stand there and communicate and be like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. I love you so much. Like, I was thinking about like how, you know, there's that old saying, like, the family that prays together stays together. So maybe it's something like that. Like, we all just sort of get together as a community and we do something as a community. So maybe that's a benefit of going to Darshan RT, I guess. So why do you think we all go to RT? Like, why do we have to go to like Sanya RT, Darshan RT, Mangal RT, like all these RTs? Like, what's the importance of it? So I was scrolling on my social media. I was scrolling on Instagram Reels, and this very interesting, we'll call it an interesting reel popped up, where I'm going to show you. We'll just, let's look at it together as a family. Pull up my Instagram here. I'm going to pop it up right here on the screen. You may not like my opinion on this, and I'm so sorry if it's not agreeable. And if you don't like it, leave me a comment. Let me know. Tell me I'm being bad, or tell me I'm wrong, or whatever. But like, tell me, okay, so this person posted, and I'm not gonna give out the social media handle or whatever, because that's wrong. So they posted this video of a sannyasi, and the caption says, cuteness overload. Do you see where I'm going with this? I didn't even know that. I normally watch these things with the sound off. I didn't know that they played that music. Why are they playing this music with a sannyasi? And it says, he looks like a child when he wears glasses. Cuteness overload. And then the comments, cuteness overload, and it's got like hearts and flowers. Oh, another person. And playing. Does this seem really appropriate to like infantilize a sannyasi and write like cuteness overload and play this music, and all he's doing is like putting on his glasses? Like, that was literally it. And I mean, maybe you're gonna call me a hater. That's fine. I used to see this with my Guru Maharaj too when he was alive, Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. Like, I remember clearly, like, I would be sitting in class, and then he'll like do something, like he might cough, or like he might do some small thing like that, and then all these ladies are like, oh my god, Gurudev is so sick, we have to help Gurudev, you know. And it's like, let's just calm down. Like, he's like 70, like he's grown, like we don't have to, you know, treat him like a baby. Like, and it's the same thing. Like, I don't know if this happens to other gurus where they get like infantilized, I guess. But it's like not really respectful, I think. Like, it's very weird to like make a video and write cuteness overload and put this weird music with it. Like, that's not the vibe, sis. Or bro, I'm not like giving away who it is, but am I the only one that thinks it's really weird? Is it just me? I'll tell you what, now I'm being like a hypocrite, but like only one time has a sannyasi ever done something and I was like, oh my god, that's cute. And it's like every year at Pushya Abhishek, Subhag Swami Maharaj gets to do like so, you know, at Pushya Abhishek, they offer flowers to Radha Madhava, right? So he like grabs this big bundle of flowers and he like throws it on Radha Madhava, and he just looks so joyful, like a small child. That is like the only time I ever like looked at a sannyasi and was like, oh my god, that's cute. But it's like this expression of pure joy. It was like sweet. It's not even like cute like a baby, even though he looks like a small boy when he does it. But other than that, like, I have never in any way seen a sannyasi do something very common and normal and was like, cuteness overload. This is not a child. Do you agree with me? Am I being a butt? Sometimes I say stuff like this, and this is why I need a co-host, because I really be popping off on stuff like this, and it's not the vibe. And I really should keep my mouth shut and not criticize devotees, but really, like, can we not? So that was like my hot take. I saw this and I was like, I need to say something about this because this is weird. So now it's time for some sage advice, where you all send me questions and I attempt to answer them. Some of it's advice, some of it's just random questions. So someone asked me, what are some places to see near you? Now, Mayapur has tons of places. Like, I just did a whole parikrama, I guess, or tour with a friend of mine. And every day we basically went somewhere. Sometimes twice a day we went out. There's lots of stuff to see here in Mayapur, but the thing is that with Mayapur, it's a holy Dham. It is the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So unless you really know like Gaudiya Vaishnavism, it could be amazing or it'll mean nothing to you. You know, like 5 minutes from my house is the yoga pit where Lord Chaitanya was born. You can go to lots of places, Srivas Angan. You can go to, Advaita Acarya Bhavan. You can go to Rajapur. You can go to Baldagi. You can go to Ishodhyan. You can go to Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu, which is in Navadwip. There's lots of stuff to see here, but it's all related to Lord Chaitanya. So, like, unless you really know the philosophy, it's not really going to mean a lot. We could drive to, like, Kalna, which is about an hour away, And there's some nice stuff there. It's like more Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stuff, but like there's the 108 Shiva temples, there's Rajabadi there, so there's lots to do. There's tons of things to see over here in Mayapur. If you ever come by, you can check it out. Another person asked, do you want to have another kid? Yep. I feel like the issue is that I'm getting older. I'm not that young. I look young, I think. But I'm not actually that young. And so my biological clock is ticking. And I basically have made a condition where I'm like, if I'm not pregnant by the end of this year, I'm not trying. Because I don't want to be too old. This is the call to prayer, namaz. Anyway, I don't want to be too old and not be able to carry the child or have health complications because of my age for the child or for me. But I would love to have another kid. Like, I feel like, you know, like you have the first kid and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. And you're sort of learning it as you go. And then by the time you're done, you're like, oh, I could do that. And then you want to have a second child to be able to do all the things that you learned with the first child. Is that stupid? So I really want to have another kid. And Padma, I mean, if the kid is like Padmavati is amazing. You know, she is so funny and so smart and so beautiful. And if I could have another one like that, and I don't care if it's a boy or girl. But to be honest, I really like having a girl. But yeah, if I could have another one like that. And Padma is so like responsible also. Like, I think she would love to have a sibling. And you know, like one day I was at Padma's school, and the thing is, like, almost all her friends have siblings. And one of her friends' older sister came to me and said, Mataji, when you have a sister, she is your friend for life. I don't know what made her say that. She just wandered over to me, said that, and then I was like, cool. Glad you feel that way about your sister. So, I mean, I would like to think that if Padma has a sibling, like, they would automatically be friends. That's always the hope for a parent, I think. But either way, I'd love to have another kid and fill up this empty house. It's just the three of us wandering around this big house. So hopefully I could have another one by the end of this year. Otherwise, if not, it's just Padma chilling like a villain. So here we got a little bit of a heavy question. What's your opinion about unmarried girls in Krishna consciousness and the fact that some are destined to be unmarried? The difficulties we face in terms of seva and are made to feel at times an outcast. How should we perceive this and continue sincerely in Krishna consciousness? First of all, I'm sorry you feel that way. That really sucks. Let's break this down. This is a big question. And I feel like somebody asked me this before. I don't know if it's the same person because they left this question in that Not Gonna Lie NGL app. So I don't know who asked this question. I don't know what the background is. I don't know how old you are. I don't know where you're from. I don't know any of the details. I just know the question that you asked. So yeah, it sucks that you're facing a lot of difficulties and you're just trying to serve Krishna. First of all, let me address everything a little bit. The fact that some are destined to be unmarried. Okay, why is that a fact? Again, I don't know you. But why is that a fact? You know, there's like an old Bengali saying, there are three things that you cannot predict: birth, death, and marriage. I believe that's the saying. So you can't say it's a fact that you will forever remain unmarried. You never know who will come along or what will happen, and you'll get married. You never know. So don't say that's a fact. You don't know unless you like. I don't know. I've met brahmacharis who are like, I take a vow like Bhishma Dev, and the next thing I know, they're married. So even if you say you're not ever, ever, ever going to get married, you might get married. You never know. So don't just be like, oh, I'm never gonna get married. And don't, if it's like a all these men are trash type situation, or if it's like a puffed up brahmacharya ego type situation, Krishna gonna knock you down real fast. Real fast. So don't be too proud to get married either. Marriage, if you find the right person, can be a wonderful thing with a partner who cares about you and wants to see you develop in every way. What's your opinion about unmarried girls and Krishna consciousness? Totally fine. In fact, some are destined to be unmarried. Even if you remain unmarried, like if that's just your life and you're just not married, like it just never happens to you, that is also okay. There is nothing wrong with that. You are not a bad person and you are not defined by your marital status. So on one hand, don't knock it. On the other hand, it's fine. It's literally fine if you never get married. So the difficulties we face in terms of seva and are made to feel at times an outcast. How should we perceive this and continue sincerely in Krishna consciousness? So I don't know what kind of service that you're trying to do. I don't know if it's temple service. Something, I think I suggested this last time too. You should find a friend who's married. Like it could be some senior devotee that you look up to, some senior Mataji, and go with them for service so that you at least you're not just like all the married women are together making garlands and you're over in a corner sulking and crying or something. You know, you at least have some companionship with somebody who is part of the group, I guess, to say. And also, like, temple seva is not the end-all, be-all of seva. There's lots of different kinds of seva that you can do. But, I mean, you have to be confident. If you've decided you're never getting married for whatever reason, the service that you're doing is for who? Is it for the married ladies at the temple? Or is it for you to offer to Krishna? That's something to consider. So you have to be more confident in what you're doing. And also consider, I'm going to tell you something that a senior Mataji, Prabhupada disciple, told me. And I'm going to tell you, but she told me not to say her name, so I'm not saying her name. But she told me that the only people in life, the only men in life that have a place to tell you anything is your husband or your father. That's it. Any other man who tries to tell you what to do and insists on it, it is just a transformation of lust. And it's true. And I realize that more as the years go by. And I make it clear that I'm saying they have a place. You don't have to take what they say. It's your choice. But they're the only people that have the right to tell you anything. Your father, your husband. That's it. Any other man, I don't know if it's a man that's giving you a hard time either, but any other man that may come along and tell you XYZ, it is not his place. And he's just being lusty. So I'd say there's lots of seva in this world. Even now on social media, I see a lot of seva going on. If you're like into social media, you could do seva in that way. Distribute books, you could do seva in that way. Not everything is like temple or nothing. So I would advise, if you can't cope up, if you can't Get over the opinions of other people circling around your head because you're unmarried. And it would be great if you could message me. Clearly you know who I am. I don't know who you are. It'd be great if you could just message me and give me more details, because I really don't fully understand what the difficulty is. You can even get together with other unmarried ladies and do service together. There's just strength in numbers. That's why I say find a married friend and take shelter of that person. Find a bunch of unmarried women and, get together and do some seva together. But you don't have to, it's not all or nothing. Either you do this temple seva or you do nothing. There's lots of other seva to do. So that's my opinion. And and that sucks that you're getting bullied, I guess, or whatever, for being unmarried. Like, that's crazy. Lots of women are not married. That doesn't make them less worthy of Krishna's mercy. So that's kind of my opinion on that. I'm not really sure what else to say about it. There's no, I don't see any shastra that says either you get married or or you'll die or whatever. You'll fall into the pits of hell, The shastra is you love Krishna, you serve Krishna, you follow 4 regular principles, chant your rounds, do your Gayatri, and tak. That's it, It's enough. That's all Krishna wants from you. Not that everything else is just a detail. Follow the principle. The other things are details. And see what your Guru Maharaj thinks. I know Bhakti Charu Maharaj, while he felt like all his female disciples should be married, sometimes it's just life. You just don't get married. And he was okay with that too. He had many female disciples that weren't married, and he loved them all the same. Sometimes I miss Guru Maharaj. Anyway, so on that depressing note, I guess. So how should we perceive this and continue sincerely in Krishna consciousness? I would say you should just, what's something I used to do when I was a pujari? I was a little bit of a butt, I'll be honest with you. I was a butt. And I was always at odds with the other pujaris. And they would drive, just the presence of these particular people would drive me insane. I would lose my mind. So something I did, put on my headphones, and I would listen every day, every time I had service, every day. I would listen to Bhakti Charu Maharaj's class on Vaishnava etiquette. Every day, every single day. It just sort of reminded me to cool down, be a good devotee, relax. He always said, there's something that always stays in my mind. If you feel the need to criticize yourself first. Be your own critic. Don't criticize the other devotees. So I always think of that. When I get to that point, I'm like, yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, okay. Not going to criticize the other devotees. So I say, if in that moment they're harassing you, put your headphones, listen to some kirtan, listen to a class, whatever, and mind your business. At the end of the day, I think if these people have no power over your service, right? They're just gossiping and being, gossipy, I guess. They're just not minding their business. But they, at the end of the day, have no power over your service. They can't kick you out of the service, right? They have no power. They're not managerial or whatever. Then put your headphones on and listen to something. You don't have to listen to that. Or just snicker, and just be well, that's just how they are, and leave it be. because you can't change how people are, but you can change how you react to things. And for me, listening to Guru Maharaj talk about Vaishnava etiquette every single day for 2 years was really good. Hi. If it's somebody in management that doesn't approve of you being unmarried, that's a whole nother story. And there's not a ton you can do about that, honestly. Otherwise, you find a seva that doesn't have someone on top of you. So something outside of the temple. Because when you work with the temple, you have to work with management. That's just how it is. And it doesn't matter whether you're a Prabhupada disciple, you're new devotee, old devotee, senior devotee, man, woman, child. And if it's someone in management that's like, you're unmarried, you can't serve here, you can find another service. There's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of stuff that you can do. That's not just making garlands or sweeping the floor or cleaning the arti paraphernalia or whatever it is that you're doing. I'm not really sure. Dressing the deities, cooking for Krishna. I didn't want to discount anything. Anyway, so that's the best I can do. I feel like my thoughts are super scattered there, but hopefully you found some nuggets of information that was helpful. So that's all the questions that I've got today. This is all the thoughts I wanted to share for today. So let's sign off here. Be sure to check out the links below to find out more. You can watch the podcast here on YouTube, as well as on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can give us a listen there. Also, you can add me on Instagram. I be popping off on Instagram. Check out my pictures, check out my stories. That's all about my life. Learn more about me, whatever. So, thank you to everyone that is watching, that stuck around so far. Be good to each other, be good to yourselves, and thank you for being Dham good. Here it is, this week's Harinam.